In this video, I'm going to teach you about all the brand new features of Alibaba and how you can use them to find great suppliers and get the lowest prices possible. So a couple weeks ago, I was invited to speak on a panel for Alibaba's first ever Co-Create conference in front of over 1,300 people about the future of e-commerce. And while I was there, I was able to get a cool demo of Alibaba's new app, and I was blown away. You all know that I teach a class of 5,000 students over at ProfitableOnlineStore.com, and one of the biggest problems my students face is finding a supplier to make products under their own brand at the lowest prices possible. Now, before all these new features that I'm about to show you, to find a supplier on Alibaba, you would start by doing a keyword search, and then you'd have to painstakingly go through all the listings and take a guess as to whether that manufacturer could actually make the thing that you want to sell. For example, let's say I want to source this cool new suitcase that I saw on TikTok that has a built-in dolly on it. Now, in the old days, you would type suitcase into Alibaba and then have to scour thousands of listings to find that exact suitcase. Well, with the new Alibaba app, all you have to do now is upload a picture of the suitcase, and Alibaba will do all the searching for you using artificial intelligence to find a suitcase that either exactly matches the photo or something close. This way, you can narrow down the list of factories almost immediately and get pricing right away within the app. This is all thanks to Alibaba's new AI Smart Assistant. Then from there, you can message the supplier, get quotes, pricing, minimum order quantities, everything. But what if the new Alibaba image search feature doesn't return a single manufacturer? This can often happen if what you want to sell is new or novel, or if you want to have something custom made based on your exact specifications. What do you do then? Well, the answer is to use the RFQ feature within Alibaba. By the way, if you want to learn how to start your own profitable online store, then make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. It's free, and I guarantee that you'll learn a ton. So RFQ stands for Request for Quotation, and this is where you tell Alibaba what you want to source, and Alibaba will match you with potential suppliers who will make that product for you. Now, the RFQ feature on Alibaba has been around for a long time. And one of the biggest problems with the RFQ feature is that you must know in great detail what you want to buy. For example, if you want to source tents for your online store, you could just say, hey, I want to buy a tent. But that's not nearly enough information for a manufacturer to respond with a quote. You need to know the weight, the ideal use case, the material, the fabric, the features. Is it UV resistant? How many people can it fit? The shape of the tent, etc. Now, creating the RFQ itself can actually get quite complicated depending on what you want to buy. And unless you describe every last detail about your product, no factory is going to understand exactly what you are looking to buy. Plus, if you are new to sourcing tents, for example, you might not even know what parameters you need to specify for the factory. Well, this is where the new AI features of Alibaba come into play. The Alibaba Smart Assistant can help you draft a thorough RFQ for you that fills in the blanks. So for example, let's say I want to sell a one-person tent, but I have no idea what requirements I should ask for. So I would just ask the app to write me a sample RFQ for a winter tent that weighs less than 2 kilograms. Then the app auto-generates the RFQ that you can edit before you submit it. And ideally, you should also include a photo of roughly what you are looking to buy so the manufacturer can get a better understanding of what you are trying to create. So built into the new Alibaba app is an AI image generator that generates mock-up images based on your RFQ. How cool is that? So in this tent example, the AI Smart Assistant has generated a series of images that you can automatically include in your RFQ based on approximately what you are looking for. And again, this image doesn't have to be exact, but you can generate a bunch of images and pick the closest one that you are considering. Now, this is what the final RFQ looks like. You have a complete description of the product along with a photo. This way, the factory knows that you are serious and thorough about this project, and they have enough information to give you a rough quote and understand your rough requirements. Now, at this point, you found some potential suppliers in Alibaba. Now what? You need to reach out and communicate with the supplier. And this leads to another common problem that sellers have when sourcing products to sell from Alibaba. There can sometimes be a language barrier. Now, while most suppliers have at least one person that can speak English at the factory, misunderstandings still happen all the time. And to help you communicate with your supplier, the Alibaba Smart Assistant now offers live, real-time translations if you are communicating face-to-face through the app. And you can also have the language translated on chat as well. Also, all communications that take place within the app are summarized by AI and stored. Now, the coolest feature of the app is that if you've spoken to a bunch of different suppliers, you can have the app compare all the suppliers in your chat history based on the lowest price, minimum order quantities, and lead times. Now, whenever we source anything, we're usually talking to at least 10 suppliers at once, and this feature allows you to keep all the pricing and negotiations straight in your head. The Alibaba app also allows you to take live VR factory tours if the manufacturer has uploaded images of their facilities. You can also ask your factory to give you a live video tour in real time. Now, once you are ready to place an order within the Alibaba app, you can track the production status of all of your orders. Now, if you're new to sourcing from overseas, arranging for shipment and payment can be a little daunting. After all, you're sending your money to a factory over 10,000 miles away to a country you've probably never visited. What if they take your money and run? What if they send you junk? Well, Alibaba has a feature called Trade Assurance that acts like an escrow service. Basically, Alibaba holds the money until you actually receive the products from the manufacturer. So after you get your stuff, you tell Alibaba that everything's okay, and then the manufacturer is paid. So basically, Trade Assurance pretty much eliminates outright fraud with any manufacturer on their platform. Now, what's more likely to happen is that you might get sent product that doesn't meet your quality standards. Now, to prevent this from happening, you should hire an inspector that will physically go to the factory and inspect your goods before they are shipped. For every shipment with our store, we always pay to have an inspection for a few items directly off the factory line, and then a final post-production inspection to make sure all products meet our quality standards. These inspections typically cost only $300, so it's a no-brainer to get one. Now, the final step of the process is to have the products shipped from the factory to your warehouse, Amazon, or wherever you need the products to go. Now, I wasn't aware of this feature, but Alibaba now offers logistics services. Now, I can't attest to the quality of these services since I've never used them before, but what I loved about the app is that you can now track your sea shipments directly within the app itself. It's almost like UPS or FedEx tracking. Your sea shipment is scanned at the origin and at different steps along the way. You'll know whether your goods are on the ship, in customs, being loaded, unloaded, everything. Now, if you've imported from overseas before, you probably have your own freight forwarder already, but having all this information all in a single app is pretty nice. Now, overall, I'm pretty excited about all these new features. Now, for people who are having problems finding a good supplier in the first place, the app offers image search or the RFQ service. The AI Smart Assistant will help you draft a good RFQ and include AI-generated images as well. If you're having communication problems, you can chat with your supplier directly within the app and get real-time translations of your conversations, which are all stored in the cloud. Then you can have AI summarize your conversations and perform comparisons between the different offers that you've received. You can also check out their factories in virtual reality. Now, when you are ready to order, you can pay using Trade Assurance to protect yourself against fraud. And finally, you can have Alibaba handle your logistics, which is all nicely tracked in the app. Now, I've been sourcing from overseas for over 16 years now, and these features make it easier than ever before. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a couple of quick tips when sourcing through Alibaba. 1. Your ability to source high-quality products is only as good as your specifications. You should always ask for a sample of your product first and inspect it with a fine-tooth comb. And with a Google Doc, you should write down every last detail that describes your product. Literally, write down every last detail. When we source napkins, we specify the exact size, the thickness of the fabric, the exact shade of white, everything. Because anything that you don't specify or write down may not make it into the final product. The sample does not always match the production quality. 2. You should always negotiate the packaging of your product. How your product is presented to the customer matters, and you can often command higher pricing with a better box. Most factories will help you with your packaging or have partners that they work with to help you. And 3, realize that the relationship with your supplier is everything. Remember, suppliers are people too, and you should treat them like how you would like to be treated as a long-term partner. Be polite, professional, and try to get to know them. Through the app, I highly recommend that you speak virtually face-to-face, and if you have the means, you should eventually physically go visit the factory directly. Product sourcing is a people-first business, and we've used the same factories for over 10 years now. In fact, we have such a good relationship with our suppliers that they literally tell us if someone is trying to knock us off. Now that you know about these cool new features, make sure you watch this video here to learn all the little details on how to source safely from Alibaba.